Greetings everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Gerard. This is Gerard with Just One Good Trade. The channel, the trading channel in which you learn by seeing real life trades, no hype, and I promote this strategy. Actually, it's a mindset. You can be a profitable trader, even scalper, which I am, with just one good trade a day. Yes, there are days where the market is bountiful and I get many trades, but really, you need just one good trade and grow your account, and then the same strategy, the same amount of pips, just more sizing, and the rest is history for you. One of my key strategies to developing faith in my strategy, faith in myself as a trader, but also the ability to see a setup and without thinking, yes, there's some thinking analysis, but without hesitation, knowing when to take it, is to go and study the market. So what I do on a daily basis, I go back to 8 a.m. GMT, Greenwich time, to possibly 4 or 5 p.m. Greenwich time, and I look for, setups that could be explained or that could be taken over with my strategy. So I look at big movements, maybe 10, 15, 20 pips movements, and try and see, with my strategy, would these have been trades that I would have taken? So with this, I invite you to do this with me every day. That way, whether you're following my strategy, whether you're just learning from what I'm doing, I will probably do this 2 to 3 times, 4 times a week even, and I invite you to follow me. So first of all, we have this trade. Next time I should signal the time frame, and at the time of this movement. First of all, I have 2 strategies. One of them involves movement starting from oversold stochastics, and the other one involves crossing the 50 and 60 SMA. The 50 and 60 SMAs are those lines, those big, bold yellow and purple line. The 14 period SMA is that light blue line, and the middle Bollinger Band, which is very important to my strategy, is that very thin dark blue line. So would I have been able to take advantage of this trade? First of all, it would start from oversold. Would this have been the trade? So let's say something I also look for is a support line. Is that trade, is this pivot starting from a support line? You know what? I don't know. I don't quite know. So all I see here, it goes here. It kind of crosses the 14 and 15 SMA, which is a very good sign. To cross the 14, 15 SMA, still stays there. Something that I consider a very good sign of a very good trade is when the candles, even when they cross the 14, 15 SMA, the next candles never fully stay on the other side. They go back on the right side. Now, would I have taken that trade? No. The reason is I like when my trades cross a previous support and resistance line. Now, this 1, 2, 3, 4, we have a string, a nice candlestick formation here, a string of 3 to 4 consecutive candles crossing this line. I would have taken this one. Now, it moves up and goes down, but it's not the end of that trade. The reason being, it crosses that line, but there's no candle that starts on the other side. So you stay here, you stay here, you stay there until you get to this point. Now, why is this a very good setup to exit? See this base? You have 2 consecutive on-trend candle. You have 1 reversal candle that overtook that base, just in 2 candles. And then you have it touching the 14 SMA. Now, at this point here, I would consider exiting. Here, I would exit and take my profit. So this trade is definitely a trade that I would take, especially seeing higher highs, higher lows here, and then this string. Now, something here that you have to note, a good, safe trader would most likely put the entry point based on that, maybe 2 or 3 pips above that, which means you probably enter here, which is almost the same thing we would do. Then you take this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say you have 5 positive candles there, which means maybe, I don't know, this is, next time I will mention how many pips that is. So let's go to the next one. Now you have this big movement, this big bearish movement there. See, that's something next time I should do. I should see, it would be good to see how the price action worked with the Bollinger Bands. This is the bottom Bollinger Band. You can tell it went outside, went back inside, signaling that there's a reversal happening. It crosses. Now, my first strategy, the one that involves crossing the, first of all, stochastics oversold, it crosses the 14 SMA and the middle Bollinger Band. It crosses it at least in one scoop, and then it never crosses back. So I would actually, most likely, I would enter somewhere here. I'll enter here. Now, guess what? I don't know the time frame for this trade, but this definitely looks like a banker's close for me. And I recently made a video about the banker's close. The banker's close, first of all, the RSI. See this? RSI on top, most likely 65, 70. You have a candle, a reversal candle with a tick. And then you have, I would say, most likely you take the, I would put my entry or a sign, a line to signify this is a place where I need to enter at the bottom here. Then you have this, and by the time this continues, you probably enter here. Now, interestingly, you have this zigzag happening. You probably have a line here to signify what would be your exit, your stop loss. I'll put it here, and then all the way down. This is a great example of, and again, you should take a look at my banker's close video, because first of all, it shows this big movement outside the Bollinger Bands. You have a couple of candles with tails getting back inside. You have this here being the bottom, the low of these candles with the tail, and then most likely you enter here and you stay until the market, if the market were to reverse back all the way here, you'd stay. Now, what is the target for the banker's close? The target for the banker's close is the middle Bollinger Band. It is the middle Bollinger Band. See, it does that, it crosses it, touches it here, but then continues to go down until it gets to a point where it gets back inside, then continues going down. Now, when would I really exit from this trade? It's interesting. It would be nice. It would have been nice. Next time, I promise. Next time, I'll make sure to continue and show where I would exit. I would love to see price action touching the 14 SMA, the 14 period SMA, and the middle Bollinger Band. I would like to see that. And then I would like to see something akin to a reversal trade, a reversal candle, taking over a base. See this? This is like a base, or taking over 2 consecutive untrade candle. So if this went here, crossed that line of that base, and then had a candle that started and ended on top of that line, I would take my exit. That is a classic, beautiful Girardian trade. Now, this is also a very tricky trade. You know why? Look, so far you have this movement happening here. This trade, you can only succeed on this trade if you trade without ego and with the rules. Why? First of all, look at this pivot. Stops here. That means, and you have 1, 2, 3, crossing that. This is a classic Gerard trade. I would have taken that trade. I would have taken that trade. So I would have done this. So far it's not crossing back. It's doing this, out of weighted. It crossed not only the 14 SMA, the middle Bollinger Band, but also it crossed the 50 and 60 SMA. Guys, there's no way out from this one. The only way out is to actually accept that, you know what, it was a good trade, but the market didn't give it to us. On the other hand, look at that. Crossing. Classic Gerard trade. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Crossing this previous base, or even if you want to be careful, see this base, this support resistance line, or this one here, 1, 2, 3, crosses it. Take that trade. You take it. This is a classic Gerard trade. Now, first of all, let's see. Is there a support? Look at that. The market wants us to win. It wants us to win. Support line, 1, 2, 3, crossing the 50 SMA. I would not take it here. I'll most likely take it either here or here or here. You have the choice. But as long as you take it a couple of pips after, 1 or 2 pips after the low of this or this one. So most likely it would be this. You'd enter here, and then you have it there. Now, why didn't I exit? Why wouldn't you exit here? See that base? It's not crossed. And really, I would exit after it's crossed 2 of them. Or after a really big move up, or 3, 4, 5, 6 bit up. Now, this is from the perspective of a scalper. You know, when you're scalping, 5 pips, 10 pips, 15 pips are gifts or curses. Now, it moves all the way down, goes outside. It goes outside the Bollinger Band. Now, interestingly, would that be a banker's close? This is not enough. See that? First of all, this tail is not enough. It's not that big of a tail. Like for example, here, this is a nice tail to enter inside. This one, in fact, it's more of a tail that signifies a possible movement down. But here, we have this. You could exit here. You could. Or if you're bold and you're happy with the money you made, you could see if you could exit here. At least, see that line? Exit if it touches and crosses that. Now, the idea is to cross when price action crosses the 14 SMA, the middle Bollinger Band, and then the next candle starts and ends on the other side, you'd exit. Look at how interesting this is. It does this, crosses it. So this one would start and end, and then you'd exit. It goes down. Now this one also crosses it, so we go back to 1. So this one starts and ends on the other side, back on the right side, and then continues. Let's look at other trades. This looks like a... Now, would I have been able to take advantage of these trades? I don't know. I don't know if I recognize my setup here. A part of me feels that 1, 2, 3, but I would have needed to cross this. So maybe I would have taken it. I'm not sure. Or if I were to take it, I'll probably take it here. 3. By the way, this is a very popular candlestick formation. You have 3 opposite candle, and you have the reversal being like one big swoop. That's a very popular candlestick formation. All the way down. You know, I don't know if I would have taken it. Although I can see the 1, 2, 3 here. And then all the way down. And then I would probably exit here. Because my rule of crossing, you know, I don't know if I would have taken it. I don't know. That's also another trade that I don't know if I would have taken it. First of all, I like when let's see. Is there anything I recognize here? I recognize this all the way on oversold. Okay, it crosses 14 SMA. I'll take it here. Then it does that. I would exit here. Then I would. Whoa, oh, that trade is rough. You know, the trade that I take with the 14 SMA, it's either price action. It's either the 50-60 SMA is all the way up and market is starting to get momentum to go back up or reverse, or it's all the way down and there's, I wouldn't take that trade. Maybe someone else would. Let's see, what else do we have? We have a consolidation period here. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, crossing. I'll most likely take this trade. But then I would need some boldness. Now, interestingly, when you take a trade, that's my perspective. When you take a trade and it goes down 1 or 2 pips and reverses, I am more inclined to ride this trade because, you know, 1, 2 pips is not enough. It's not enough for me. After maybe 5, 8, 9, 10 pips, yes, I consider that. In fact, 5 pips. If it reaches 5 pips and start reversing right away, that's cause for me to use my rules. For example, here, that's one of my rules. See that base? It broke it. Now, it did not break that other rule, which is you exit when price action crosses 14 SMA middle Bollinger Band. The next candle should start and end on the other side. This, on the other hand, starts and ends on the other side, but goes back. This crosses, goes back. But then you have this doing this again, and I don't know what happens. This is a very tricky trade. I don't know if I would take it. Actually, I would have, and I would have most likely I would have written this one and hope that it wouldn't cross that. If it crossed it, I would exit, take the loss. But then I'm very curious about this situation here because it crosses this base and it almost crosses, it doesn't. It almost crosses this support line. Hopefully it went down because it's a very nice looking trade. Oh, this is classic Gerard trade. Oh, love this trade. Now, it's interesting. I have one at the bottom here. Okay. So this trade, let's not confuse you guys. Now, this is an interesting trade. This is a trade with the 1, 2, 3, where 1, 2, 3 kind of crosses this line. This very important pivot. So what I would do, I would take 1 or 2 pips above that and put my entry here. I'll do that. Now you have the 1, 2, 3 crossing this base, lovely. Crossing the 50 and 60 SMA, lovely. Ooh, and now, oh man, Gerard, you should have had this one. This is a classic, almost close to a banker's close. As you can tell, it's going back inside and riding. But this setup here, classic Gerard trade. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Where is this line? Touching here, or even 1, 2, 3, crossing that pivot, crossing the 50 and 60 SMA in one swoop. Is there close to another pivot here? Oh man, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful Gerard trade. Now, let's take this other one. This is almost the opposite. Now, this is a very tricky trade. Very, very, very tricky. Tricky. Oh, we've seen this trade before. This is just showing you how long this is. And how would you be able to not fall into that trap? Well, the only way to not fall into that trap is to get the low, the high, Give yourself a little padding of 1-2 pips, and guess what? Look for a 1-2-3 pattern that crosses it. That's it. That's the only thing you can do. And you know what, guys? To this day, I fall into that trap. To this day, I fall into that trap. And by 2020, we're not gonna fall into that trap anymore. So what do? The low, you take the low, draw a line, give yourself 1 or 2 pips padding, the high, 1 or 2 pips padding, and then you wait for a 1-2-3 pattern that falls, plunging all the way to your profits. We've seen this one before. Similar. You take the high, you take the low, you take the high, you give yourself a padding of 1 or 2 pips, and then you wait for a 1-2-3 movement, consecutive, 3 consecutive candles, and you make it happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the analysis of the day. I really enjoy making sure that I'm studying the market, and it's great to do it with you. What better way to do it with you guys, getting to study and also helping you keep those profits. You guys might be scalpers, or you might be swing traders. The only difference would be this would be on your 2, 3, 4 hour charts. Whereas for me, I'm in the thick of action with the 1 minute or 5 minute chart. Give us a like if you enjoyed this, if you've enjoyed doing this with me. I will do this 2 or 3 times a week. I invite you to come back. If you want to know when the next videos come, please subscribe to this channel. If you find this video educative and you enjoyed it, maybe you enjoyed my personality, my smile, or you learned something, please give us a like, drop us a comment, ask us some questions, and I will make sure to at least read them and answer them, because your technical questions, most of the times, they help me grow or be more secure in my own strategy. Thank you very much. And again, with just one good trade, you can make it happen. Thank you.